Welcome. Links down below as always to Credit WWE. I had fun here. This was the 39th Saturday night main event. I'm really glad that they brought back this series. 5-match PLE featuring Jesse the Body Ventura, who 40 years ago, almost to the day, give or take a couple of months, actually partook in a match. I think it was with actually Cowboy Bob Orton. And he was the only one in history, he said, that went from the broadcast booth to the ring, back to the broadcast booth. And then he got on Pat McAfee later during the cage match, because that was the only match in which he was a part of, to be able to do some play-by-play commentary. Stated that Pat McAfee was trying to steal his thing. But then there was other times where people were in a match, like Michael Cole was in a match. He's undefeated at WrestleMania. So I don't know if he just forgot about that or whatever, or it was supposed to be a part of the joke is because it doesn't count. Anyhow, just wanted to bring that up because I love Jesse the Body Ventura, man. He's amazing. I grew up with him, not literally, but like watching him on TV in the 80s, and it was just great. So Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker defeat Sami Zayn and CM Punk. Not before Bronson Reed interferes and aligns himself with the Heyman crew, as you could see here. What ended up happening post-match was people were like, well, what's going on here? Because even Breaker wasn't even too sure what was happening. You have to remember the huge history when Bronson Reed he took out Seth Rollins for a long time with all those tsunami splashes, nearly killed him, right? So Breaker goes to get in the way, and then Seth Rollins like, no, we're good. Gives him a hug, brings him into the crew, and Breaker's like, oh shit. So that was not something I was expecting to see. I was hoping it was going to be Austin Theory, but it wasn't. It was big Bronson Reed. I'm just glad to see him back. This is actually from CM Punk going into the ring trying to charge up Paul Heyman after they were already all in there because he's so angry, and they pinned him down, and that's where he got splashed. Zelina Vega defeats a bloodied Chelsea Green to retain her U.S. title despite the outside interference from the Secret Service. I still don't know why they have that word Secret Service. Again, I want people to be honest. I want honesty, and I will always be fully transparent with you. I know that I've said this a million times. Do you sometimes feel like you'll see someone, doesn't matter who it is, and you're like, whatever. They're not bad. They're not amazing. They're just whatever. And then in recent memory, you'll have somebody that you thought was above average. They get let go. They're gone. And the person you think is just mediocre at best is also holding a title. Sometimes you can't always, my point was, put into words what it is specifically about said person. It just doesn't jive with you. Have you ever had that where there's somebody, you don't hate them personally, you don't know them, but you could just do without seeing them, and you can't fully technically explain why other than you're just not wowed by them? But this was a decent match. John Cena defeats R-Truth. See, now it's my turn to talk trash about this. Via a kick to the walnuts, R-Truth came out to a Ron Cena shirt and Cena's music. It wasn't just a John Cena shirt with Ron's name on it, because that's his real name, Ron Killings. He's got a really cool name. I just wish that we saw more from R-Truth because he's quite capable. He's really good. And I just feel like I would have wanted to have seen a little wee bit more out of him. I just felt like this match, to be honest, it sucked because of how short it was. But whatever. That's the highlight recap. See, if you take a close look, that's actually R-Truth on there. The last time is now, and he just inserted himself. And then instead of John Cena, it looks like a sticker, right? And it says, there we go, get a good look at that. It says Ron Cena, 2025 farewell tour, with actual, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't think some people quite may have paid attention to that detail, but I thought it was awesome. The entrance was better than the match, and that's to no fault of either two participants. I want to be clear on that. It was because I just wanted to see one or two more segments of R-Truth getting the upper hand. He's a former champ in multiple different areas. Okay, now I just completely lost my notes. So that's that. Cage match with Jesse the Body Ventura that states that back in the 80s on NBC network television, you likely never would have been allowed to have showcased a cage match. It would have been considered too barbaric. But instead, you could have, the women half naked parading around like sex objects. But, that's another story for another day with the pillow fights and all the weird shit that they used to do that you would think would be on the Playboy channel. Different morals, I guess, back then for what they wanted to show on television. This was a good match. Damian Priest defeats Drew McIntyre, which, not to be rude, I wasn't expecting. Just because, they've been pushing Drew, but sometimes he's got to lose too. This was the one where he had his head on a chair, and then Priest came and sandwiched his head between two chairs. And that was the end of it. Jesse the Body Ventura noted that he did not like how Damian took the coward way out, which is the whole heel thing, which you don't get on commentary now. You won't even get that from Wade Barrett or Corey Graves. But I get to eat soon. Sorry, I'm on intermittent fasting. Yeah, I didn't like how he walked out, but that was still kind of funny to say because that's the whole point. I think you've always been able... I have a feeling you haven't always been able to walk out the door. I know oftentimes I've seen where you have to climb out to win. I've seen matches, I know, where you climb out and then they drop down and it's like, oh, thank God. I think they changed that in the last 20 years. I'm talking way back 30, 40 years ago, cage matches. I don't think you were able to walk out, which is maybe what the Body was referring to. But I enjoyed this. This was not really a technical match. It was more of a barbaric street fight in a cage, and that's okay. You mix it up. The main event. Oh boy. The main event has what a lot of people consider to be one of the worst champions in history. I'm not saying that I agree with that, by the way. I'm just sharing with you what's presented to us. And again, another instance where a social megastar YouTuber is in the main event of a wrestling show, PLE. And you know what? I'm actually on board with it because I've said this a million times before. I used to think he was one of the absolute biggest fucking clowns I have ever seen or heard of in my life. But there is no denying that in that ring, when it's showtime, he doesn't mess around. This isn't a game for him. He's not just looking for money. He's already got his Prime, his YouTube, just everything. He is a self-made, multi-millionaire entrepreneur. He does not need the extra money from WWE. Then he's got that thing with the boxing celebrity thing with his brother, Jake. He's actually in there, and I believe it, because he actually loves wrestling. So you can look back at all the things that he's done in the past. The Japan thing, recording the people. I'm not even going to say the details. But once you apologize, once you give a heartfelt apology, you don't repeat said behavior. To me, it's done. We don't need to keep talking about it unless he were to do it again. That's just my thoughts. You can still hate the guy. You're allowed to do whatever the hell you want. I personally don't care. I'm just being very candid, very blunt with my take on him. To me, he does fucking belong there. To me, I would have been okay had he somehow dethroned Jey Uso. I'm just being real. Because we had we had fist bump from a few fans. Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to say. Fist bumped a couple of people, which is nice because you don't always see that as a heel. The other thing that was really interesting is that he got introduced last. Usually it's the champion that gets introduced last, not in this case. So I thought that was interesting. I was going to say insane. It's not really that insane. It's interesting, though. John Cena pulls the ref off, starts beating the shit out of Uso. I really wanted to see like a kick to the balls, brass knuckles, Uso's done. Then Roman Reigns comes out, then Cody Rhodes comes out, and just no, I'm getting ahead of myself. But Cody Rhodes came back, helped Jey Uso not get screwed out of his championship. And it ends up that next week at Money in the Bank, it's Logan Paul and John Cena versus Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes at Money in the Bank. I think that's cool. 10 minutes. That's about as long as these videos should be. No more. Thumbs up as always if you like the video. It does greatly help support that channel with the algorithm. Thumbs down if you didn't like it, and I'll bend it in half, twist it, break it off in your ass. You know that. It's going to happen every single time. Sometimes you'll get a Jey Uso spear while your hand is back there and it's broken off inside you. You can't even move your hand. You'll get a spear right in the arm and it'll just... That's enough details. That's disgusting. So yeah, if you want to subscribe, great. If not, I don't blame you. Thanks for stopping by anyways. Take care. And maybe I'll see some of you in the next one. Bye for now.